Hey YouTubers, welcome back to Desert Have a Garden. We are up at the High Desert Homestead for the weekend, and I have to report that last night I had the best night's sleep I have had yet up here since we have brought the trailer up here. So when we first got this property, we built the tiny cabin that's behind me, and that's where we stayed for the first couple of years. When we would come up here, we would stay in that tiny cabin, and the kids had cots on the bottom floor, and my husband and I had a bed up in the loft, and it was really quite comfortable to stay in, except for the fact that it was a foam mattress, which was super comfortable, but then when it started getting hot, it didn't have the cool foam technology in it, and so it actually was pretty hot in the summertime. But we were staying in that cabin up until the time when we had our third child. And so then I had an infant, and I was carrying our little baby up the ladder to get up into the loft. And that was kind of difficult to use one arm carrying the baby, one arm climbing up. And at the same time, our daughter was potty training. And so while she was potty training in the middle of the night, I have to get down from the loft and help her. We had like one of those little baby potty chairs inside, so we wouldn't have to go outside at night, but it was really becoming inconvenient. And we were using a composting toilet, which is on the patio behind me, and we have a 5-gallon bucket that was under the composting toilet that we use. But at the same time, after a couple years of that kind of rustic way, we decided to get an inexpensive trailer to park up here and have some more comforts. And like for showering in the summer, we had an outdoor shower that we would just take an open air shower, and it worked. We've had this trailer for the last 4 years, and this is where we stay. So we have plumbing, and it's hooked up to our septic tank, and it works out really nicely for us. But one of the things that has always been a problem is it came with a Sleep Number mattress in the bedroom, and my husband and I, every time we sleep on that mattress, we wake up sore and achy, and it was just this thing that was always a problem. And so finally I bought a new mattress, and we brought it up last night and opened it up. It's one of those that comes rolled up tightly in a box and gets shipped from Amazon, and we opened it up, and last night, great night's sleep. So I'm really excited about that. It makes staying here a lot nicer and more to look forward to. And so this weekend we don't have any huge jobs except some cleanup around here, and I'm also going to start working on my garden. I brought some small plants that I started back at our home, and we're going to plant those in our garden and get the water turned on for the new season. One thing I forgot to bring was a charger, so we're running on extremely low battery, so I'm going to do very little filming today, but I wanted to show you the plants that I brought from home. So here is an early girl tomato. Down here I have a sunflower, and let's see, this one is a golden midget watermelon. I have a few lemon cucumbers, and then I have 4 of these sweet meat squash plants. So they're a winter hard squash, and they're supposed to be really tasty. So I'm over here in the garden, and if you remember from the last video, we had an asparagus we were able to harvest, and just from that time, you can see several asparagus have come up and already gone to fern. But we do have a few that we can still harvest, like this one right here. Let me see if I can focus a little better. So we have one here, and then we have one here. I'll just be snapping those off, and we will enjoy those. Some little ones down in the ground, and even more coming up over here. So those are our perennial asparagus. But over here in this area is where I'll be putting the new plants, and we will be turning the water back on. It runs underground to our main water tank that is connected to the well. And so we'll be setting the water back on, and it's just a drip irrigation. You can see here that I now have the plants planted into the garden, and I went through and redug the trenches where the water comes through. So the plants are mounded up, and the water runs down in the valleys to water the plants. And you can see here that the water is on a drip system. So the water just comes running out of these holes and Then it goes down into the valley and it makes a puddle and it soaks up to these plants. So hopefully we will have a lovely garden going here soon. These are long vining plants, but we do have a second garden area designated that's fenced off. So I may route the vines out through the fence into the other fenced area where it'll be protected from wildlife, but yet that area is not irrigated or ready for anything else at this time. Here you can see the lovely asparagus we harvested, super delicious. We cleared a big dirt and rock pile from this area, which will be a future extension of the garden. So we wanted to get all the dirt cleared out of here and sifted up. And then we trimmed some trees and made a pile right here. So these trees here we trimmed up because ultimately they're going to need to be trimmed up, but it's also nice to have the visibility. And no, we didn't trim over here. So we made this pile of branches, and we have these branches everywhere, and then it comes to the issue of what do we do with all these branches since we can't find an industrial wood chipper. So what we're doing is we use the backhoe to squash down the big pile. It was about twice as high, and now we're going to put garden dirt, sifted garden dirt, on top of it to see if it will compost. I don't know if this is going to work. We're really hoping that it will since this is a garden area. So if you know, feel free to comment down below, but it's worth the experiment and at least it'll make it so it's not a fire hazard. So we're going to cover this up with soil. You can see that from trimming down all those trees, we had a bunch of logs that we stacked up and cut into usable pieces for additional firewood. With all the branches covered up, we no longer have a risk of fire, and hopefully it'll compost. You can see that it looks real nice with the trees trimmed, and we can look out over the valley. One other project we had to do this weekend was stabilize the trailer that we stay in. So those cinder blocks that it sets on had broken from the weight of the trailer. So what we did is we lifted the trailer up, put new cinder blocks under it, and put wood in order to distribute the weight, and hopefully they won't crack again. Overall, we had a real nice weekend with some relaxation mixed in with some work and got much needed jobs done. We love our new mattress. It makes all the difference in the world having somewhere comfortable to sleep. So I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, give me a thumbs up and subscribe for more updates in the future.